And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good after boom, as my friend Vince calls it. It's time for the market recap. Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Wow, what a day. I guess we got our answer from the Fed, and we got our answer on how investors or traders are going to respond to this. It was a pretty wild day. I mean, we put in a new low, we put in a new high, we put in a new low, and we continue to put in new lows. The Fed has hiked rates 75 basis points to 3.25%. A lot of what we're dealing with after the fact is the things that Powell was talking about. There were a couple of positives, but most of the things that he had to say were negative. One of the positive things he said it'll eventually be prudent to slow the rate of increase, still indicating increases. Probably require a tight policy for some time. He said that the dot plot that everybody kind of looks at as for a potential plan moving forward is not a plan or a commitment by any means. Labor markets labor market conditions may soften. We'll need to raise and maintain rates at a restrictive level for a while due to the strong rate of inflation. He does feel as though commodity prices appear to have peaked. The equities, futures equities closed, well, the S&P down approximately 70 points, about 1.8%. The NASDAQ down 230 points, down 1.9%. And the Dow futures down about 550 points or 1.9%. So a pretty big down day for us today. Wasn't really expecting the response that we saw. I was kind of pleased at first when we put in the low and we came back above weekly kickoff high. We put in the new high. Now I thought that was a little bit telling, but by the end of the day, the market really had digested the information and has created a late spike below a weekly kickoff low in the S&Ps. We're going to have to take a look and see that on the NASDAQ. Looks like we've left a late spike below weekly kickoff low in the NASDAQ. That important level from July, we are now down below it. So we did see a lot of open interest increase to the downside today. We'll see that tomorrow morning. It's going to look like this break has some real teeth to it. We got some swing lows that aren't too far down below, but again, I'm back to not being able to check my 401k for a while, apparently. We've got crude. The EIA increased to 1.1 million. It was less than they were expecting, but that has the inventory landing flat as far as traders are concerned. Keeps kind of price testing weekly kickoff low. The E-mini S&Ps rate hike increase creates volatility both sides. The market has, for the first hour and a half after the release, after the release, was really kind of bipolar, new low, new high, and now, of course, we see how the market has resolved. My question at the time, was how are traders going to digest this? And I think we've got our answer. Price failed to test the weekly kickoff low on the first low that came out, but I think we're below that now. The dollar knee jerks after the announcement to a new 52-week high and then drops. We got a potential breakout to the upside in gold today. We're going to see that in the charts. The euro volume was lower. value lower on higher volume. The 10-year rips two ways, but maintains value lower below the weekly kickoff low. We would kind of expect that 10-year just keeps on grinding to the downside. And the natural gas rollover range remains. I think we'll be trading November nat gas tomorrow if you're going to be trading nat gas at all. And I don't suggest doing so until you know that market very well. It's a real beast. Make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome on the market recap. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notifications when we do go live. Again, we're always looking for feedback. If there's something you want to see on the recap, forecast, whatever it is, make sure you let me know at jhoagland@topstep.com. We do have Make Hoag Money tomorrow morning. That's going to be an interesting one. I think we're going to be opening in some pretty serious levels here, and I think we may have some pretty big opportunities early in the session tomorrow. We don't know. Anything can happen. Got to see what happens tonight. Got to see what the open interest looks like. Got to see where we open with regards to the late spike that we've put in to the downside in the NASDAQ and in the S&Ps today. So it's going to be an interesting day. Good afternoon, Tachyon, Haggle Matters, Vince. Good after. Boom. I was cracking up before the forecast. Haggle Matters. Forget the question. Okay, you were talking about. Yeah, M period creates a late spike. So where we open with regards to that late spike tomorrow morning may be telling as to whether we're accepting lower pricing or not. Bad news, good news for me, bad news for the market. Hit my goal today. Nice job. Redemption today. Good job, bad news. I'm glad to hear that. We're always looking forward to success. Sarah Hall with a question. I'm curious if you know, how does the increase in rates help inflation? It's confusing to me. And enjoy the last day of summer. Yeah, that's right. It is. We start fall today or tomorrow, right? Okay. When we have too much money in the system chasing too few goods, supply dictates that price goes higher. So we're in an inflationary period because we've got so much money in the system and we've actually had supply chain issues. We've got higher energy. Everything is costing more because either there's a supply chain issue or just the fact that there's so much money out there, so much money chasing the same products. So price is naturally going to go higher. When they raise rates, they're trying to cut off the ability, really, of people to continue to buy stuff, especially stuff you got to borrow money to buy. Houses, cars, even, some durable goods, dishwashers, washers and dryers, those types of things that many people borrow money to buy. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to pull back the amount of money that's out there so that we'll actually buy less and we can bring this inflation back into order, which, by the way, was at 2% before Joe Biden took office. And we're well over 8% now. So everything is costing more. Now, where it really runs into a problem is real earnings, because most people aren't getting an 8.8% raise this year. Everything that they're buying is costing them more. So you actually have less money in your pocket. So it is a twisted mess, Sarah. The people that are in charge, I've always, been taught to and thought that I should believe that they know what they're doing, but I don't think that they do. I think most of our leadership is more interested in benefiting themselves than benefiting the people that they work for, and that's us. I believe Jerome Powell has his heart in the right place, and he's going to work very hard to try and straighten this out for us all. But if we keep printing money, we're just gonna have more and more expensive products, and inflation is just going to continue to roar. So what they're doing is they're just trying to pull back the buying power of people so that prices can return back down to normal levels, and then they can start to loosen up monetary policy again. It is a mess. It is very confusing, Sarah. I'm not an economist. I've been at this for a long time, but I'm just a guy like everybody else, and I think most economists are just guys like everybody else. And they're going to be right, they're going to be wrong. It's like being a trader. So we've just got to try and get through this and stop a lot of this unreasonable spending. And over time, it's going to be a little painful. I think a lot of folks are going to be short a lot of cash for the next year or two or three. But hopefully, with the right people in the right seats, we can get this figured out. Bron made 1,200 today, only 150 away from completing step one. Good job, Bron. Sebastian up 58.75 today on 1 and 2 lot trades. Trades days like today, if you're hot, you can do it. You don't have to trade a lot to make a lot of money, right? Tomorrow, Sarah saying, is the beginning of fall. I can't believe it. I mean, it's like 95 degrees out and humid. It's like August hot out here right now. That's a hell of a day, Sebastian. The dilapidation process begins. Yeah, the last time we had rates like this, the late 70s, early 80s, and Paul Volcker was the in charge of the Federal Reserve, and he got very aggressive in raising interest rates. I mean, people were paying a lot to borrow money. If you're at low rates right now, don't change a thing. Don't refinance. Don't do anything. Don't borrow money if you can, because it's just going to cost you more money. The force was strong with this one today, Sebastian. He traded in the zone. Nice job. Nice job, Sebastian. Well, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we see in these charts. It's going to be a little bit scary, so hold on tight. So this is the daily in crude. We've been wrestling with weekly kickoff low. We're still wrestling with it. I think expiration is tomorrow or Friday, so we won't have to worry about rollover again for about 3 weeks in crude oil. Just looking at what we were looking at, we have some technical support. We still hold that technical support. Here's the 30-minute. Didn't really get any big knee jerks off of the FOMC meeting, but the market opened. It looked higher first. We were talking about the opening range this morning on the forecast. I said I don't want any part of that long off that opening range trade, and it wasn't too long before the market took itself back to the downside. I mean, this is a pretty substantial range today. When we take a look at the low of 82 to 86, so we're looking at 5.5% move from low to high or high to low. Testing weekly kickoff low, just kind of dragging around it, unable to close down below it. I'm going to find that relatively interesting if that is the case. Now, I think we did close below it, so really just kind of continuing to wrestle with this area. S&Ps. All right. So we have a late spike on the 30-minute chart for sure. The low here, which was from that July 19th, I was looking at that as a very important level, and I still believe it's a very important level. We stopped at it. We looked above it. We tried to hold above it. We weren't able to hold above it, and then that's when things really started to fall apart. So I think we're in a continuation market state now, where we may see this market continue to move to the downside We've got a couple of swing lows, which we may be able to lean on if we get the opportunity down here. 37.41.75 is this swing low, and this swing low is 36.57. Okay, those are some pretty considerable targets for this continuation move to the downside. I'm really hoping that something changes and we're able to shore these markets up a little bit, of course, for everybody. Here's the 30. So we ranged pretty much as you would expect to throughout the majority of the day. Once the news came out, okay, we knee-jerked lower. Okay, below weekly kickoff low. We did not necessarily close that bar deep down through it. We turned around and took out the high of the session, and then we turn around and we kind of just buried this thing. So our base of the late spike is going to be basically this swing low here, which is 38.32.75. Going to be looking to see what kind of open interest we added today. Look at the volume in the last half of the day, the last part of the day. Big volume. Open interest is going to be important tomorrow. And where we open this market in regular trading hours tomorrow is going to be important because, again, we've got a late spike and this market ended its day on its ass, if you'll pardon my language. So if we open in the late spike or below, that's going to be saying that's acceptance of lower pricing. If we open above the base of the late spike, how about even above the weekly kickoff low, that might leave our late spike as potential excess at the low. Now, right now, it's not excess. Price is down here. So we're going to be watching tomorrow morning, and we're going to be in Make-Hogue Money tomorrow morning. We're going to see if we find an early opportunity to try and get into something good here. NASDAQ, we did close below that level. Now, there's that level in the S&Ps that we just broke out down below. NASDAQ has, of course, been presenting as the weaker of the markets. This is 30% off the all-time high. Is that correct? I believe it is. And where we are right now at 20% off the all-time high in the S&Ps. This market drove and has been accepting below this important level, same spot in the S&Ps, not holding in the NASDAQ. Now we've closed below weekly kickoff low, and we've got a late spike to the downside right through our weekly kickoff level. It's going to be another interesting day tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Just sitting here trying to postulate possible hypotheses right here during the recap. We've got to see what happens in the overnight. We've got to see what happens and where we open tomorrow with regard to the late spike. Gold got a little bit of a juice to the upside. I don't know how well it held it, but at least it took a good look up there. I was thinking maybe if we could close up there, which we didn't. We did not close above the kind of upper extreme of the area of balance that we've been stuck in for 3 days. Whoops. So here's the regular trading hours. Okay, remember, regular trading hours in gold closes at 12:30 Central Time. We didn't even get any volume until after we closed. Go figure, right? So the market knee-jerked lower, tested last week's low, knee-jerked higher, but not until after the close. So the settlement price for gold is probably going to be somewhere around 1676.70. Let's see if I'm right. 1676.70. 1675.70. So I was a buck off. 1675.70. So really just kind of in range and in value. None of this happened until after the market closed. Settlement isn't going to look that good, but at least we did get a kind of a look above these kind of recent highs we've been in. Euro. So we had the dollar spike to another 52-week, new 52-week high. We've got a breakout down below the weekly kickoff level. We saw that this morning. Looking to sell rallies was really the thing to do throughout the day today. We did have to deal with the FOMC pullback here, which actually provided a pretty decent short. 10-year. Look at this. Systematic. Just organized. Actually, saw price go higher today. We did close higher than we did yesterday. Value is largely pretty much the same. Pretty good knee jerks. But it looks like we did close right around weekly kickoff low here. Oh, this is going to be fascinating to see tomorrow morning. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Still looking at our head and shoulders here in the natural gas. Nothing really, that's fantastic with FOMC when it comes to natural gas. We still see value largely continuing to leak to the downside up against weekly kickoff low. I don't know about you guys, but these days like this, they exhaust me. They're just exhausting. What's up, level 2? Dag, good to see you. Level 2 in the house. Sorry I'm late, had a wild day. Up $2,200. Nice job, Rooster. Nice job. It's always about managing risk and protecting capital on days like today. Tomorrow's always another day. Nice job, Rooster. Anybody that had a good trading today, congratulations. Just trade smart the next time you see a situation similar like today. So, in history, this is the day that Benedict Arnold committed treason against the Americans in the Revolution. September 21st, 1780. He met with a British Major, John Andre, to discuss handing over West Point to the British in return for the promise of a large sum of money and a high position in the British Army. We all know what happened to Benedict Arnold. Today was the last ball game played in historic Yankee Stadium in 2008. Today's the first day that George Clooney was on TV. He was on The Facts of Life, if you remember that show. Yikes. As far as music, I always like to look at the music because I want to look at what I want to hear after the day is over. 1934, a gentleman by the name of Leonard Cohen was born, a Canadian singer-songwriter. If you have ever heard the song Hallelujah, which has been covered by everybody, he wrote that song. And he sounds more like me singing it than anybody who can actually sing. Dire Straits, 1985. Today was their first U.S. single, Money for Nothing. 1985 also, Madonna scored her first UK #1 with Like a Virgin. Today's Don Felder's birthday for you Eagles fans. Maybe I'll just play some Don Felder. I didn't know this about Jaco Pastorius. 1987, on this day, he died from injuries sustained in a fight. He was trying to enter the Midnight Bottle Club in Wilton Manors, Florida, where he'd been banned. He got into a fight with a bouncer. Yikes. See? It doesn't pay. Today's Faith Hill's birthday. I've always been a Faith Hill fan. That's about all that. good, Rusty Golfer. Alex, so TopStep is a broker, or I need to open an account in any additional broker and contact TopStep? No, TopStep isn't a broker, but we have connections to brokers. Alex, if you want to join TopStep, go to topstep.com. Check out the website. What we ask you to do is to trade in a real-time simulated account, follow some very basic rules, and profit, and we'll actually fund you at a brokerage. Hot day today, was trading with points, didn't watch cash. Nice job, Megaphone. Kind of pattern, predictable day. Well, I'm glad you had a good day. Glad you had a good day. Tomorrow's going to be another day. Am I frozen? No, I think I'm... All right. So what are we looking for tomorrow? As far as economic numbers are concerned, we have every Thursday the jobless claims numbers. We've got misleading indicators, leading indicators, but we used to call it misleading indicators on the floor. And 9:30, the natural gas numbers due out. So on switch day, we're going to have the natural gas numbers. Got a few bill and note announcements and auctions. Nothing tremendous. And then Friday, we have the PMI composite flash. So we still have some smaller, important economic information. Lynn, do I trade? Yes, I do trade. Slim Jim, I'll pet Lacey for you for sure. She's up on the forbidden couch. She'll get yelled at when Mom comes home, but I will certainly pet Lacey for you. All right, so tomorrow's Thursday. We got market forecast. We got Make Hogue Money. Lynn, you're going to be able to make me money tomorrow if you come to Make Hogue Money. And then that's it. And then, of course, we've got Top Step Strategies. The last day tomorrow on trade management. And then that's going to be it until Friday forecast for me. We're going to have the podcast tomorrow afternoon, so you won't see me then, but I will look forward to hearing from you and seeing you very, very soon. See you tomorrow morning, 7:45. And Lynn, come make me money. See you in the morning. Get some rest. I think we're going to need it.